Good morning, everybody. This is an exciting day. Good morning. I want to ask everybody to come in and have a seat. We're about to get the program started. All righty. All right. Well, once again, good morning. Good morning. I want to welcome you all to the EPA Brownfield Grant Award ceremony. Give a hand for that, everybody. All right. All right. My name's Darren King. I'm the Deputy City Manager for the City of East Point. And I can surely tell you, I'm the MC for the program today. Also, I can tell you on behalf of our City Manager, Mr. Frederick Gardner. Fred, where are you at? Fred? Okay, I see you back there. And also on behalf of our Honorable Mayor, Deanna Holiday Ingram, and our entire City Council, we are indeed honored and privileged to be hosting this grand ceremony this morning, because it means we're all being blessed with something that our communities could use. So we're excited about that. I can tell you from where I stand, this presentation, and I've talked to the EPA officials and EPD officials, and this presentation gives us an opportunity to not only provide for the announcement of the grant award recipients, but also to provide for opportunity to provide for a celebration of the award itself. So with that being said, we're going to make a little adjustment in our program this morning. I'm going to ask our Mayor Pro Tem. I'm going to introduce you to our Mayor Pro Tem. We will be meeting the Mayor very shortly, but I will be introducing to you our Mayor Pro Tem for our great city, the Honorable Karen Renee, and who will be providing for us some opening remarks, and the Mayor will be doing that as well. Karen Renee, to give you a little introduction on to who she is. She is elected as our East Point Council Mayor Pro Tem, and she was first elected in 2014. She was re-elected in 2018 and serves as our Mayor Pro Tem. Ms. Renee is a strong champion for public safety and is an advocate for children and young adults. She is one who expresses a deep love and appreciation for our city of East Point, describing it as a wonderful city in which to live. It is, as she says, a city rich with tradition and culture that believes in its citizens. She's been born and raised in Selma, Alabama. Karen Renee says her parents instilled in her the value of an education and a good work ethic early in her life. Councilmember Renee moved to East Point in 2002 and embraces the city as her home. Since that time, she's been actively committed to helping continue the progress of moving our city forward as a diverse community and bringing about change, making the city a well-sought place to reside, work, and do business, as well as enjoy the simple pleasures of life within our city. Ms. Renee is a graduate of Alabama State University and with a degree in political science, as well as a law degree from Atlanta Law School. Her educational background and work experience have provided her the acuity, passion, and skill to effectively tackle and resolve issues of concern and handle legislative matters. Ms. Renee also serves as the second vice president for the NAACP Atlanta Fulton County branch. Ms. Renee worked for the Atlanta Job Corps Center for 14 years. Her passion for young adults is clear, and she was employed as the business community liaison as a key figure on their executive team. Her passion was building bridges with corporate America, small businesses, congressional members, and local leaders to continue the legacy of the Job Corps program. She is strategic in helping young adults establish their foundations in becoming productive citizens in our community. Join me in welcoming to the stage for our opening remarks, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem Karen Renee for City of East Point.
Good morning. Good morning. I have about 20 pages to read. It's longer. It's actually longer than the bio. I'm just kidding. This is a great day for East Point. I am Councilmember Karen Renee, and I do serve as Mayor Pro Tem for this great city of East Point. This is a great day for East Point, and I just want to say thank you to East Point staff and team members, to the East Point team members. You know, when we first started applying for the EPA Brownfield grant, we didn't get selected the first time. and it was okay. We were not discouraged. We believed in this process, and we believed in this grant. And we want to say thank you to EPA for granting us this great grant. This grant will help us to improve our neighborhoods. It's also uniting us together. And when we're uniting together, it is the most powerful entity to bring about change. So thank you for not giving up, and thank you for believing and uniting our communities to help us bring a positive change. All of our communities here in East Point deserves the absolute best. It goes to show the world that when you are united in a community, there's nothing we can't do to help improve the lives of others. I'm so proud of the work that unites us and the benefit it brings to our communities. Let us continue to be united in our community, and this is another great day for East Point and another reason to unite us all. Thank you so much to the EPA team and to also our East Point team. We really do appreciate all of the hard work. And I just want to say that this grant, let's give you the areas that this grant will provide service for before I sit down. The city secured this grant at the Jefferson Park and the River Park Association, in the neighborhoods, including the AUW site. That's at 2903 RN Martin Street, and the former General Chemical site at 1427 Central Avenue, and also the Owens, Illinois plant at 3107 Sylvan Road. This improvement for these two districts will be a great help and a great service for those communities. And we have members from those communities here. Will you guys please stand? We have Joe Anderson, the president of River Park, Lynn, and the board members as well. And also Suzette, she's also one of the members here. Our people are invested in our communities, and and to see them come out to join us for this great event, receiving these fundings, it will help all of us. And I just want to say I really do appreciate their involvement and their commitment to the communities. It helps us all. Thank you so much.
All right, next on our program, we'll be providing for you the state perspective. And to provide that for you will be the Georgia EPD Brownfield Coordinator and Unit Manager, Ms. Shannon Ridley. I want to tell you a little bit about Shannon. Shannon currently manages the Georgia Brownfield Unit, which is administered in the EPD's Land Protection Branch's Response and Remediation Program. As the Brownfield Coordinator, she manages the technical and the regulatory requirements of the program while still meeting redevelopment needs. The Georgia Brownfield Program oversees the voluntary investigations and cleanup of Brownfield properties pursuant to the Georgia Brownfield Act. The program also certifies eligible Brownfield costs for property tax abatement purposes. Prior to becoming Georgia's Brownfield Coordinator, she served as an environmental engineer in EPD's Hazardous Waste Management Program and later the Brownfield Program. Prior to joining EPD, she worked as an environmental consultant for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Region 4 in support of the Resources Conservation and Recovery Act. Shannon holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan in civil and environmental engineering. However, she was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, so she got a little north and south in her blood there. So in any event, I'm going to invite our Georgia EPD Brownfield Coordinator, Ms. Shannon Ridley, to the stage. Could you come join us at this time? Please welcome.
My loud shoes. I just want to say good morning, everyone. And first of all, apologize for not getting here sooner. I would have loved to have met each and every one of you, especially the grant recipients. To get an EPA grant is a huge accomplishment. These grants are very competitive. Most people apply numerous times before they get them. So congratulations to the City of East Point and to the City of College Park. It is an honor for us, or for Georgia EPD, to be here today, and thank you to EPA for including us in the grant announcement. So just like the award recipients present, Georgia too is a recipient of EPA Brownfield funding, without which the Georgia Brownfield program might not exist. Georgia's Brownfield law was amended in 2002 to offer robust incentives to innocent purchasers of contaminated property. At the same time, EPA awarded Georgia grant funding to establish its Brownfield program. In the program's 16-year existence, 1,032 properties have been enrolled, 564 of which have been certified as ready for reuse. This represents over 6,000 acres of land that can be safely reused and 960,000 tons of soil remediated. That equates to millions of dollars invested in cleanup with minimal expense to taxpayers, and billions of dollars statewide being invested in properties that were blighted or underutilized. Notable brownfield redevelopments include the East Side and West Side trails of the Atlanta Beltline, the East Decatur Greenway Trailhead, and the redevelopment of the former Sibley Mill into a cybersecurity and technology complex in Augusta. Now, Georgia could boast about numerous brownfield redevelopments. We have Tyler Perry Studios on the site of Fort McPherson, Punt City Market on the site of the old Sears and Roebuck building, and the Porsche North American headquarters and test track on the site of the former Ford Assembly Plant. And while we are proud of these redevelopment projects, the Atlanta Beltline, East Decatur Greenway, and Sibley Mill projects are worthy of special mention because they illustrate the synergy that exists between the federal and state brownfield programs. EPA Brownfield assessment and cleanup grants and Georgia's liability protections greatly contributed to the success of these redevelopments. EPA Brownfield funding enables municipalities, local governments, and nonprofits to complete environmental assessments and cleanups, which are vital first steps to reusing and redeveloping brownfields. While Georgia's liability protections allow them to acquire contaminated property without assuming liability for past contamination or groundwater cleanup. Liability protections and economic incentives encourage the reuse and redevelopment of brownfields, which is a net positive for the environment and communities. In Georgia and across the nation, many derelict and contaminated properties are being recycled as a direct result of incentives offered at the state level and federal funding. Land recycling preserves greenfields, invigorates the local economy, and alleviates eyesores and potential dangers in communities. Since the inception of the federal brownfield program in the late 90s, EPA has invested over $15 million in brownfield assessments, cleanups, and planning throughout the state of Georgia. These funds have facilitated the beneficial reuse and redevelopment of abandoned and underutilized properties throughout the state. Communities have greatly benefited from the conversion of old gas stations into trailheads and coffee shops, the utilization of abandoned railroads for multi-use pedestrian trails, and the transformation of old mill sites into affordable housing and live, work, and play communities. Brownfield redevelopment contributes to a better quality of life for everyone. The combination of state incentives and EPA Brownfield funding are keys to economic development. Georgia views itself as a partner and a resource in the revitalization of brownfield properties. We look forward to partnering with the cities of College Park and East Point with the reuse and redevelopment visions they have for brownfields in their communities. We hope to see a proliferation of brownfield assessments and redevelopments, or we hope to see projects that can be readied for cleanup grants and entrance into the brownfield program. The redevelopment of a single brownfield in a community can be a catalyst for economic growth. Thank you.
All right. Next on our program is the Brownfield Grant Award presentation portion of our program. And I have the honor and the privilege to be introducing to you the EPA Region 4 Administrator, Ms. Karen S. Walker. And to tell you a little bit about, Ms. Mary S. Walker. Mary S. Walker. All right. To tell you a little bit about Mary is she's, as I mentioned, the Administrator for EPA's Southeast Region, Region 4. In this capacity, she leads EPA's effort to protect human health and the environment in the 8 southeast states of Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, North Carolina, Mississippi, South Carolina, and Tennessee, as well as 6 federally recognized tribes. Mary previously served as the Deputy Regional Administrator and Water Division Director in the Region 4 office. In these roles, she worked cooperatively with states to improve coordination and the timeliness of EPA actions she will continue as our Region 4 Administrator. Prior to her work at EPA, Mary served as the Assistant Director and Chief Operating Officer for the Georgia Environmental Protection Division, where she oversaw policy development as well as rulemaking for all media, permitting, and compliance programs and for the general agency operations. Mary is a graduate of the Institute for Georgia Environmental Leaders, served on the EPA State E-Enterprise for Environmental Leadership Council, and represented Georgia on the Southern States Energy Board. She earned an undergraduate degree from Tulane University and a master's degree in public administration from the University of Georgia. Mary is an Alabama native and currently lives in the Atlanta area with her husband and 2 children. So please join me, everyone, in welcoming to the stage our Region 4 Administrator, Miss Mary S. Walker. Come forward, Mary.
I've been in environmental protection so long that I've been called a lot worse things than Karen. Well, good morning, y'all, and thank you so much for that introduction. And thank you all for coming here today. Today EPA is making national announcements for our Brownfield grant selections, and we are very excited to do it right here in East Point and to recognize the Brownfield grant recipients that we have with us here today. I'd like to first recognize the mayors, the council members, and other representatives from the city of East Point and the city of College Park who are present with us today. Thanks so much for being here. We are proud to be here with you today to celebrate your awards and to talk a little bit about our Brownfields program. You all may know that a top priority for our administration really is to clean up contaminated land and return it to productive use. The administrator has highlighted this in a number of different ways. We have prioritized the Superfund Task Force. We have prioritized the administrator's emphasis list, and those really are lists that are designed to speed the cleanup of our nation's most toxic and most complex contaminated sites. But our focus on cleaning up contaminated land is not just on the Superfund program. It really is across the suite of all the land programs we have in our environmental cooperative agencies. And the Brownfields program in particular is really an excellent resource that is available for communities to actively engage in spurring cleanup efforts. So as y'all know, since you're here today having received this award, a brownfield is a site where a previous use or event has led to legacy contamination that can often prevent redevelopment. As we clean up these sites and allow for redevelopment, we not only see environmental benefits that are of great interest to us, but we also see incredible community and economic development benefits as vacant and blighted properties are cleaned up, as they're returned to property tax rolls, as they're returned to active parts of your communities, and they become sites for jobs where people live, work, and play. Within the Brownfields program, our assessment grant and our cleanup grants are 2 of our most popular Brownfields grants. And these grants are proven tools that can help us promote redevelopment and community reinvestment. We see them used in rural areas and in urban areas. We see them used in downtowns and at country crossroads, at vacant properties and old facilities. Brownfields grants really help provide the change that can lead to broad economic resurgence. EPA's Brownfields program and EPD's Brownfields program, and the awards that we're celebrating here today is really a great example of what happens when federal, state, and local community stakeholders work together to address blight and revitalize communities. So this year, EPA is awarding $64.6 million in Brownfields funding to 149 communities across the country. 18 of these communities are right here in Region 4. These awards will bring $7.1 million to our Region 4 communities. Here in Georgia, we have 4 award recipients. two of which we will acknowledge today, and two which we'll acknowledge tomorrow. And these recipients in total will receive $2.2 million in funding. Our recipients today were selected by a national panel of expert reviewers, and these awards were made based on the strength of community visions, based on these projects, and based on the level of community engagement involved. So winning this funding, as a number of our speakers have noted, it really is very significant. Only about 36% of grant proposals nationally receive funding, so this is a giant deal. We're very excited. So I'd like to specifically recognize three awards that we're acknowledging today. Our first recipient is the City of East Point. And East Point is a first-time grant recipient, as y'all have heard. East Point will receive $300,000 for community-wide assessment focused on the Jefferson Park and River Park neighborhoods, where the closure of the Owens Corning manufacturing plant, of General Chemical, and the Atlanta Utilities Works really have resulted in significant job losses and neighborhood decline. So these are opportunity zone locations, and these locations will really be well positioned to attract mixed-use development and quality of life, and to improve the quality of life for community members. Second, the City of College Park Business and Industrial Development Authority, a second-time recipient, is receiving a $500,000 grant for the cleanup of the College Park Golf Course, which is in a designated TAD. This project will turn contaminated golf course land into affordable workforce housing, along with creating a community and recreational center. This will create jobs. It will add to the quality of life for residents of the community. And finally, in addition to the cleanup grant, the City of College Park is also the recipient of a $300,000 assessment grant for work in the general downtown area. Priority sites to be focused on will include former auto repair facilities and former filling stations near residential areas. This area will overlap the city's tax allocation district number 1. We are incredibly proud to celebrate these awards today, and we thank you so much for being here. So I would like now to welcome up our recipients, first from the City of East Point, and I will, I'd like to welcome Mayor Dina Holiday Ingram, Mayor Pro Tem, Council Member Karen Renee, Council Member Thomas Callaway, and Macia Rogers, Director of the Economic Development Department. Would y'all like to come up and say a few words? Or?
Well, thank you, and thank you to EPA, EPD, of course, all the hard work of staff. This is not the first time we applied for this grant, but our staff hung in there, and they went back, took another bite at the apple, another bite at the apple, and then we were able to get this important grant. Of course, thank you to my colleague, Mayor Pro Tem Karen Renee. She serves with me in Ward B as the at-large member. What I can tell you guys, it's just been a pleasure serving with her. Every day, this is a very hard job to do some days, but having somebody to help you lift that heavy load is key and critical to getting the job done. And she always does it with the most beautiful and best smile, so that's always a pleasure. And then, of course, to the citizens, but especially I want to acknowledge the folks from the EPEC, the East Point Environmental Club. They have started out over the last probably about a year and a half. They've gotten several grants from Emory. They've been looking at water. They've been looking at air. And then also I want to acknowledge the citizens and community members here today from River Park neighborhood. We just had a very robust meeting, I think would be a good way of saying. It was Thursday, not even a week ago, and we talked about the some of the pollution that was coming off and then contaminating the stream that runs through a park area and right next to an elementary school, and one of the sites that have been identified as one of the sites that will be assessed on this grant. And I mentioned, I said, well, we're trying really hard to get the lights on, get the streets, get buildings built, and sometimes the environment gets kind of pushed off to the side. I said, we had applied a couple times for some EPA grants, brownfield assessment grants, and that would have had an impact on this. And I said, unfortunately, we had not received any. And then I think it was the very next day, Maceo called me up and he said, "Hey, Councilman Callaway, I got some great news," and told me about this, and I said, "Wow," that's so crazy. It's serendipitous. All things really are coming up. Our number has come up in East Point, and we have waited a really, really, really long time for the citizens who have been here for a long time for these things to happen. So thank you for being patient. I know River Park, when I go to their meetings, we have been working really hard in River Park in East Washington, getting rid of blighted houses. We've been, have a very robust program taking vacant and absentee landlords to court. We've instituted a blight tax, and then these industrial sites, former industrial sites that we have throughout our city, are key to getting cleaned up, just because as we are struggling through this process and taking care of some of the things that have been deferred, this council and administration has been working hard, because most of us have been here 6 years or less, 7 out of 9 of us, but in staff, I think it's been here around 4 years, most of them, or less. We have worked really, really, really hard to bring a vision of not only community but health, and to extend the quantity as well as the quality of life of everyone who lives, visits, works here. So thank you all so much, and of course thank you EPA, EPD. This is really huge for us. This was a piece that we could not have done alone, and this was a piece that was missing of all the wonderful things we have been doing. This is just one more wonderful thing coming our way. So it just shows good things happen to good people. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I can't tell you how excited I am. This is a very, very beautiful day, and it's a beautiful event. But let me just start out by, and I won't repeat a whole lot of what has been said, because I think that, that the grant and the sites that were covered have been announced with respect to East Point. But let me just start out by saying how grateful and thankful we are to the EPA for their recognition of us as a city that is on the move in terms of trying to change these sites. This is a very special moment for the city of East Point because it actually represents 3 years of relentless and devoted effort by the staff to make a difference in terms of achieving the end goal, which was to hopefully, and of course in this case we actually got the grant, and of course we are very, very ecstatic about that, without a doubt. The deal is, it starts from the top. We have been blessed with tremendous leadership, starting from the mayor, who should perhaps be here a little bit later, and 2 council members, Councilwoman Renee and Councilman Callaway, that has spoken. Their tremendous leadership, as well as the rest of the council members, have made a tremendous difference in our efforts. But then we also have the leadership of the city manager, Mr. Fred Gardner, whom many of you know. He was here earlier. I don't see him now. Oh, there he is. I'm sorry. Got to stand up a little taller. And of course, the deputy city manager, Mr. Darren King, that you've heard of as well. We've been blessed as a staff because they have given us the tools and resources that are needed to go after some of the available funding that is out there. And of course, through their leadership and guidance, we've been able to do that. But it wouldn't be that way if we didn't have their sincere and devoted support in terms of our efforts. And then, of course, it whittles right down to the folk who are on the ground, the folk that are in the trenches. And that is the staff themselves, the folk that are making a difference. So I'm just going to ask real briefly, if you just indulge me here for a second, if we can have the EcoDev staff members to simply stand up, if you will. I just wanted to, and stand up, Aaron, stand up, stand up, stand up. I wanted to acknowledge them because no one gets it done by themselves. And even though Mr. Reuben Thurman is not a member of economic development, I tell you what, when it came down to working on this particular project, you couldn't tell it. he was in the trenches with us, and so it makes all of the difference. So we thank you tremendously, Ruben, of course, Regina, Rhonda, and Aaron, for your work. And then, of course, there is one other person that I would like to acknowledge in the group, and that's Mr. Keith Zabron. He has offered up tremendous counseling and guidance also as part of this process. And Keith, if you could just raise your hand and stand up, I'd like to acknowledge you as well. Again, no one gets it done by themselves. And so what it represents also is now we have the responsibility. We have the responsibility to simply execute this funding and use it where we know we must use it in order to make a change and a difference within the city of East Point, and we are going to do just that. So again, I want to just say thank you so very much. We appreciate you, and we are looking forward to it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Let's go around and sign the check down there so we can go on the stage. Now, I am very excited to make our next set of awards and to introduce and call up to the stage our representatives from the City of College Park. And so first, I'd like to ask Mayor Pro Tem Tracy Wyatt from City of College Park to come up, as well as Artie Jones, Director of the Economic Development Department, and also Councilman Clay. Let's see. We are very, very excited to make this award to y'all today. Come on, let's see, I'm gonna turn the floor over to you.
Well, thank you. Good morning. Once you get past 40, you gotta have the glasses. I'm extremely thankful and humbled to stand here as Mayor Pro Tem of the City of College Park. And I'm especially excited and humbled to represent the city in receiving this award, but even more so delighted at the support being offered through the EPA. We will be very cautious and make sure that we uphold the value of the environment as well as continue, all right, I'm glad y'all didn't get to hear the first part, to continue to grow and expand. But let me, before I say anything else, and I'm gonna be short because I'm gonna let Councilman Clay say a few words, but I'm glad to see that May Show recognize his staff. Because let's be clear, we get to stand up here and make the speech, we get the photo ops, but make no mistake about it, it's the staff that makes these things work. Don't make it impossible. So I'd like to recognize our chairman of Clearly College Park, Ms. Eleanor Cornelius. Thank you for coming. I want to recognize Tasha Hall Garrison, who works in economic development. Thank you. And my assistant who wrote my speech, executive assistant to the mayor and city council, Erica Jones. Thank you. As she said, this is the second year that College Park has been chosen. And when you hear about how competitive this grant is, then you know that you have a great staff that's really working hard and understand what it takes to receive these awards. And here today, I think I heard our grant would total about $800,000. She's spoken about going for the golf course. But let me just assure you that College Park, thank you, and that College Park is grateful, and that I'm honored to be here to represent the city as well as the council member and Artie. And I'm going to turn it over because I don't think, I think if someone's going to speak, it should be the people who done the work. And so I'm going to turn it over to Councilman Clay for a quick minute, and then we'll let Artie.
Well, thank you, Councilman Wyatt. He has 4 years more than I on City Council. I came in 2005 and got on council in 2008, and I have never seen the energy level in this area, in the Tri-Cities area, at a level since I've been here. This is an amazing day. It's a great day for College Park, obviously, with the wonderful grants that we received. But it's a great day for the Tri-Cities area, and it's a great day for the planet. And I don't want to forget the planet, because things are a little rocky these days in many ways. And anything we can do to secure our environment for our children and their children going forward is a major, major thing. And it may seem like a small thing, we're just one little spot on the globe, but as Councilman Wyatt and others have said, if we all work together, if we all cooperate, we can raise the level of health in this country and in the planet in general. So I'm not going to repeat everything other people have said. I thank all of those who have worked on here, and I totally agree with Councilman Wyatt that we aren't the ones that get it done. It's the staff, it's the consultants, it's the government support that has so graciously been shown today. So thank you all, and I look forward to a wonderful expenditure of our grant in bringing the city forward.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the City of East Point for hosting this event. You have a very beautiful facility. I missed the opportunity during your ribbon cutting because I was at a conference at the time, but this is a very, very beautiful facility, and you're to be commended. Excellent. Also, thanks to the City Council for hosting us. And it gives me great pleasure to come before you today to share with Mayor Pro Tem Tracy Wyatt of the City of College Park in the acceptance of the Georgia Environmental Protection Agency $500,000 Brownfield cleanup grant, which will be utilized for the environmental cleanup of the historic College Park golf course, and also $300,000 Brownfield grant for assessment to evaluate additional sites throughout the city of College Park. In the summer of 2017, the city of College Park was awarded with a $300,000 Brownfield assessment grant. Since that time, the city of College Park has completed over 50 actual phase 1s and 2s because we own a great deal of real estate, and that could not have been done. That lift could not have been done without the Environmental Protection Agency. Also, I would like to acknowledge, Barbara, Derek, Bushra, Annie from the EPA for working with us, for having faith in us. You have a great staff. Johnny on the spot. Whenever we need something, you guys are, you explain things to us and you help get us through this grant. And I'm excited for the city of East Point also. We've done some great things, and there's been several deals that we've done. Had we not had the Brownfield Assessment Grant funds to do those phase 1s and 2s, those deals would not have came to fruition because those individuals would have moved to another city or somewhat other site outside the city of College Park. So the funding does work. These funds were also used for a number of community educational type events to let people know about Brownsfields. And it's amazing how, the misperceptions about Brownsfield. Whenever you hear Brownfield, you think of negative, negative, negative. But the Brownsfield grant money is good, good, good. Any day that we can get a big check or 2 big checks, we're happy. Because of all the activities, because of all the assessments that we were able to do within the Airport City development area, we have a number of end users, retailers, hoteliers, entertainment venues that want to locate within the city of College Park. So this grant is our past grant that we have expended is a testament of the great work that can be done when the federal government works with the state government, works with the local government in securing these funds. I'd like to extend a special thank you to an individual, if they would please stand, Tasha Hall Garrison. She works within the economic, don't look at me like that. She works within the Economic Development Department, but she has served as the program manager over this grant over the last 2 years. And with doing 50 of assessments over, a 19-month period of time, that is a testament of, she's on top of things. And I'm looking forward to her continuing in that capacity as we work on the $800,000 from the EPA. And you don't hear a lot from Tasha, but like I said, she's behind the scenes. She's the person that does the work and helps me to look good. And I'd like to thank the Georgia Environmental Protection Agency to know that the funds that are awarded today will be put to good use, and you will receive some very impressive developments in the very near future. Thank you.
We're going to head down and sign our final 2 checks, but before I do, I'd like to acknowledge one guest that I omitted to acknowledge earlier. We're really pleased to have Drew Ferguson representing Senator Johnny Isakson here today, the Regional Director for Senator Isakson. So welcome. Okay,
All right, let's give everybody a hand one more time. This is a great day. Wow. Man, I got to keep you as a friend, Mayor. You signed some big checks. We'll keep you as a friend. There's so many people to thank, as you have seen, from our mayor and councils, from both the city of College Park, our city of East Point, all the staff, and also EPA, EPD officials. All raise your hand, all the staff for both those offices. Can you raise your hand, EPA, EPD officials, so they know who you are? Please give them a hand, please, everybody, because just like Artie said, it's the people behind the scenes that you don't see that do a lot of work. I appreciated that Artie mentioned that because it is so true. We see it where me and Fred work, that it's not the folk who are up here taking the photo shoots, it's the people behind the scenes that are making things roll. Ruben Thurman sitting back there, our grants administrator, thank you for our city of College Park. Economic development staff for both the cities of College. Where's the economic development staff that Artie, you're going to have put in the work? You put them out there, Artie. They're going to do some work. Where's the economic development team for your office, Artie, College Park? Are they here? All of them. They're all here? Raise your hand. I see you. You're out there. All of them. But I just want to make sure that everybody gets acknowledged. Thank you so much, everybody. Everybody for all that you do. And also for our city, we thank you for all that you do. And the EPD, Georgia EPD, we thank you guys. So with that being said, if there's more photo shoots going on, and I want to thank, like I said, our EPA administrator, Miss Mary Walker. Give her a hand. The Georgia EPD Brownfield coordinator and unit manager, Ms. Shannon Ridley. Give her a hand as well. Thank you, Shannon. And everybody, all the community people that we've mentioned who are within our districts, within our community, River Park community, all the people who have made this possible in the city of College Park and East Point. Thank you. Let's give everybody a hand, please. All right. All right. This is a great day. We hope to have this happen again. This is great. You know, maybe we get some more opportunities like this, but we really appreciate everyone taking time out their busy schedules and joining us this morning. And so that would conclude our program. There'll be some more photos. Is there going to be media availability for anyone who wants to be available? It's at that time of the program. Once again, thank you, everybody, and have the rest of a great day. Thank you so much.